Well, welcome back, and some brand quickies for you right now. An American cereal brand, Cheerios, celebrating diversity through a series of short karaoke-style sing-along videos. The Right on Tracks campaign tackles topics like different kinds of family units, being different, and bullying, all in a bid to spark conversation about empathy, inclusivity, and kindness. And locally, Cosmopolitan magazine making history by releasing its first ever selfie cover. The cover features local YouTube stars Mihlali Ndamase, Nadia Jafta and Jessica van Heerden. With 400 hours of content uploaded every minute and 87% of women visiting the platform daily or weekly, the magazine wanted to pay homage to YouTube as the global fan destination for female-led content in its very latest edition. And in an ever-changing marketing and advertising sector, what is the role these days of so-called big network agencies? This informed a conversation with the Ogilvy Group's Chief Executive Officer, John Seifert, when he visited the local business recently. Let me start off with the simplest and maybe the most complex question. Why do agencies need to change in 2019?
Well, the first reason is we're not growing. Agencies generally of scale have had a lot of growth challenges, and that's directly related to our clients who've had their own growth problems. There's more focus on cutting costs and trying to spend every dollar better because they've got less of it. So that's at a macro level a big part of it. But agencies need to change because the nature of the work has changed so dramatically. You know, we're building brands in incredibly exciting new ways, from how a brand shows up in a social media platform to how a brand is trusted in terms of its point of view and purpose as an organization, to how consumers now have, they're in the driver's seat with all their digital devices.
The conventional wisdom in many respects would suggest some agencies are not up to the task, that there is an enormous amount of flux, of confusion within the brand sphere.
Yeah.
They're battling with this issue, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's been happening for a long time. David Ogilvy always said this: change or die. I mean, that's just a fact.
Look, there he is over there. He's looking over your shoulder.
That is my hero. He was always someone who believed in looking around the corner and seeing things sooner and changing faster. We built a lot of our specialist capabilities because of David's, influence in terms of being prepared to change. So what is true now is that the pace of change is happening so much more rapidly, and I get up every day trying to make sure that Ogilvy will be relevant in the future.
So many brands that we talk to on this program say, why do I need an ad agency these days?
Sure. And I think what more and more they're saying is there are some places in the world where advertising continues to be incredibly effective and important. I was in India recently. We're building the Amazon brand through advertising. So this idea that, that
advertising as we know
as we know it, the good old traditional definition of advertising.
Don Draper,
We're teaching, Indian consumers how to think about making purchases through a commerce platform called Amazon, which they don't know really how it works. So, advertising is still alive and well, but brand building now comes in so many more flavors in terms of how a brand is experienced, and that's much larger than advertising. So if you're just in the advertising business, you're going to have a pretty small piece of the pie.
What new skills are needed in your world?
Before we get to the skills, let's talk about how you get everybody to buy into it. And that, for us, is 3 years ago we started this journey to define what we call brand worlds. So we have a point of view now about everything that makes up a brand and how to look at that in what we call a whole brand context. And these brand worlds are about looking at how brands are built over time and at every level of how a brand operates in the world. So we now have a new operating system that is completely designed around whole brand thinking. And over the past 2 years, we have been piloting this OS along with a whole new set of capabilities, from advertising to brand strategy to customer engagement and commerce to public relations and influence to digital transformation. We are now using these capabilities throughout the operating system called Ogilvy OS as a way of helping clients see their brand world in much more detail. Right now, brands they have to operate right this second. That's the nature of the digital world we live in. They have to matter over quarters, and they have to matter over years. And so we have a strong point of view that looks at brands in a complete holistic way, and we have now come to the fore with tools that we think are going to help clients build those brands in new ways.
Your single biggest problem remains diminishing budgets.
Exactly. And that's the other pressure on us, right? Because clients have said, we will look at budgets in a whole brand context. We're not going to just assume that every problem will be solved by an ever-increasing advertising spend or media spend. We want to look at all the ways in which brands are built, and we want the most effective and efficient, spending to happen. And we have to have a role in helping them understand how to do that.
I want to go back to this guy over here.
My hero.
Your hero, David Ogilvy. How's advertising changed since he set the basic tenets of the business in place?
A lot of people think that David Ogilvy was a champion of advertising, and it is true. He believed in the power of creativity applied in the medium of advertising as a very influential way to build brands. But in truth, he was a brand builder. He walked our clients' factory floors. He learned everything he could about their companies, their products, their services, and what made them special. And he was all about bringing that special point of view to life, largely through the lens of advertising. But the truth is that as the company evolved over time, David was hugely influential in getting us into direct marketing, into public relations, into how we manage brands at point of sale in retail. So he was never, someone who just said, oh, the only way to, think about Ogilvy is through the lens of advertising. He believed in the power of creativity broadly and finding all the ways in which brands could evolve over time. That's why I called this the refounding of Ogilvy, because I want people to stop celebrating Ogilvyisms and everything David said and start to celebrate the mindset, what I call the founder mentality that he had for our business.
So bring it to the South African market. Now, how does this impact on the way in which this agency group operates?
So Ogilvy is a beacon brand in the South Africa market, and we have been for a very long time, as you know. The opportunity here is if we have that leadership position, we have an amazing portfolio of clients, and we have a track record of success. If there's any place that can show the network how to change and change faster, it would be here. I believe that the strongest Ogilvy operations around the world are ones who have a deep connection to the market in which they operate. And they don't just it's not their presence alone, it's their point of view in the market and how they bring to life. I made Piyush Pandey my new global creative partner from India because of his point of view around building brands in one of the most dynamic, fast-growing markets in the world called India. And to be honest, while this country has plenty of challenges economically and socially, this, I think, is a place where Ogilvy can stand apart in terms of brand building in a modern age.
Is television advertising dead?
Not at all.
Tell me why not.
Well, because I think, one, a huge percent of the world still gets a lot of their news, entertainment, sports through the television media.
From your lips, yes.
And I don't see any evidence that says it's going to die anytime soon. Is it changing? Are viewing habits changing? Are there, my children all watch TV with multiple devices in their hands. So the consumption, the experience of television as a medium has evolved tremendously. But it's still, I think, a definer of how people, live their lives. And as long as it is entertaining and programming gets better, which it is, and it serves a public good in terms of how you get the information you need to live your life, I think it's going to be alive and well. Will we need new advertising models as people find that they can get that content in new ways without traditional advertising? Yes. But brand building through the medium of television is, I think, alive and well.
But the principle and discipline of creativity remains the same, though?
Yes. I mean, storytelling, the ability to move somebody emotionally in a way through music, sound, video is amazing. Is amazing. The one thing I can tell you, bad advertising is probably dead, but advertising that is relevant, informs, creates a sensory experience that people crave, that advertising will live forever.
Coming up on the program, how a lifestyle platform and an alcohol brand are working together to give women a seat at the table. Also this, athlete Caster Semenya stars in our Ad of the Week.